It is not advisable to directly connect the water bond to the ground rod. The function of the water bond is to establish a connection between the electrical system and the water piping system. This connection creates a path for fault currents, enabling them to safely flow to ground. Conversely, the ground rod is specifically designed to offer a low resistance route to ground, primarily for dissipating energy from lightning strikes and other high-energy surges. Connecting the water bond directly to the ground rod creates a situation where fault current will flow through the water piping system. This flow can result in damage to the pipes or, more dangerously, create a risk of electrical shock. The water bond's primary and correct connection point is the electrical panel. This connection provides a more direct and safe path to ground. The correct installation method for a water bond involves connecting it to the cold water pipe. This connection should be made as close as feasible to the point where the water supply enters the building. The wire used for this connection should then be run, ideally within its own protective conduit or pipe, to the electrical panel. Within the panel, it must be securely connected to the grounding busbar. Similarly, the grounding electrode conductor, or GEC, should be run from the electrical panel, also within its own dedicated conduit or pipe, to the ground rod. Grounding and bonding are essential components of electrical safety, and they serve slightly different but complementary roles. Grounding aims to provide a path for electrical fault currents to return safely to the source, typically the electrical panel or transformer. This path helps to ensure that overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, trip quickly, cutting off the power and preventing electrical shock or fire hazards. Bonding, on the other hand, focuses on connecting all metallic parts of an electrical system together to create an equipotential plane. This means that all bonded metal parts are at the same electrical potential, minimizing the risk of shock if someone comes into contact with two different metal parts simultaneously. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides detailed guidelines on proper grounding and bonding techniques. These guidelines are based on established safety principles and aim to ensure that electrical systems are installed and maintained in a way that minimizes the risk of electrical hazards. It's important to consult the latest version of the NEC and follow all applicable requirements when working with electrical systems. In the context of replacing fuse boxes with breaker panels, several key considerations come into play regarding grounding and bonding. Firstly, older electrical systems may not have had a dedicated grounding electrode system, such as a ground rod or water pipe electrode. In these cases, it's essential to install a new grounding electrode system that meets the requirements of the NEC. This typically involves driving a ground rod into the earth and connecting it to the electrical panel with a grounding electrode conductor. Secondly, the water pipe electrode, if present, must be properly bonded to the electrical system. This involves connecting a bonding jumper from the water pipe to the grounding electrode system, ensuring that the water pipe is at the same electrical potential as the ground. Thirdly, all metallic enclosures, such as the electrical panel itself, must be properly bonded to the grounding system. This helps to ensure that any fault currents that may flow through the enclosure are safely conducted back to the source. When running grounding and bonding conductors, it's important to use the correct size and type of wire. The NEC specifies the minimum size of grounding and bonding conductors based on the size of the service entrance conductors. It's also important to protect grounding and bonding conductors from physical damage by running them in conduit or other approved raceways. In addition to the grounding electrode system and bonding conductors, surge protection devices, or SPDs, can provide an additional layer of protection against voltage surges caused by lightning strikes or other transient events. SPD are typically installed at the electrical panel and are designed to divert surge currents away from sensitive electronic equipment. When selecting an SPD, it's important to choose one that is properly rated for the voltage and current levels of the electrical system. It's also important to install the SPD according to the manufacturer's instructions. Furthermore, when upgrading electrical services, it's crucial to ensure that the neutral conductor is properly sized and installed. The neutral conductor carries the unbalanced current from the load back to the source. If the neutral conductor is undersized or improperly connected, it can cause voltage imbalances and other problems. The NEC specifies the minimum size of the neutral conductor based on the calculated load of the electrical system. It's also important to ensure that the neutral conductor is properly grounded at the service entrance. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. By following the guidelines of the NEC and using proper installation techniques, it's possible to minimize the risk of electrical shock, fire, and equipment damage. It's always best to consult with a qualified electrician when working with electrical systems to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. Grounding electrode conductors must be sized according to NEC Table 250.66. The size of the grounding electrode conductor is based on the size of the ungrounded service entrance conductors. For example, if the service entrance conductors are 2/0 American wire gauge copper, the grounding electrode conductor must be at least number 6 American wire gauge copper. Bonding jumpers must be sized according to NEC Table 250.102. The size of the bonding jumper is based on the size of the circuit conductors. For example, if the circuit conductors are number 12 American wire gauge copper, the bonding jumper must be at least number 12 American wire gauge copper. It is important to use the correct size and type of wire for grounding and bonding conductors. Using the wrong size or type of wire can create a safety hazard. Grounding and bonding conductors must be protected from physical damage. This can be done by running them in conduit or other approved raceways. Surge protection devices can provide an additional layer of protection against voltage surges. SPD are typically installed at the electrical panel and are designed to divert surge currents away from sensitive electronic equipment. Neutral conductors must be properly sized and installed. The neutral conductor carries the unbalanced current from the load back to the source. If the neutral conductor is undersized or improperly connected, it can cause voltage imbalances and other problems. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. By following the guidelines of the NEC and using proper installation techniques, it's possible to minimize the risk of electrical shock, fire, and equipment damage. It's always best to consult with a qualified electrician when working with electrical systems to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. The grounding electrode conductor connects the service equipment to the grounding electrode. The grounding electrode is typically a ground rod, but it can also be a metal water pipe, a concrete encased electrode, or a ground ring. The grounding electrode conductor must be sized according to NEC Table 250.66. The bonding jumper connects the service equipment to the metal water pipe. The bonding jumper must be sized according to NEC Table 250.102. The equipment grounding conductor connects the metal enclosures of electrical equipment to the grounding bus in the electrical panel. The equipment grounding conductor must be sized according to NEC Table 250.122. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. By following the guidelines of the NEC and using proper installation techniques, it's possible to minimize the risk of electrical shock, fire, and equipment damage. When replacing a fuse box with a breaker panel, it is important to make sure that the new panel is properly grounded and bonded. This includes installing a new grounding electrode system, bonding the metal water pipe, and connecting the equipment grounding conductors to the grounding bus in the electrical panel. It is also important to make sure that the neutral conductor is properly sized and installed. If you are not comfortable working with electrical systems, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. It's crucial to ensure that the new panel meets all applicable codes and regulations. In summary, when upgrading from a fuse box to a breaker panel, firstly, install a new grounding electrode system, typically involving driving a ground rod and connecting it to the panel with the grounding electrode conductor. Secondly, bond the metal water pipe to the grounding electrode system using a bonding jumper. Thirdly, connect equipment grounding conductors from metal enclosures to the grounding bus within the panel. Fourthly, ensure the neutral conductor is adequately sized and properly grounded at the service entrance. Fifthly, verify that all work complies with the latest NEC guidelines and local electrical codes. Finally, consider installing surge protection devices to safeguard sensitive electronics from voltage spikes. These steps ensure a safe and code-compliant electrical system upgrade.